Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padikamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyamadi Paschatya Deshatarane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare हरे कृष्णा। तो आज तो बहुत कम संख्या है। ठीक है, हम चालू करेंगे क्योंकि ये तो कोर्स वाला है, तो सबका अटेंडेंस लग ही रहा होगा। So yesterday we were doing 22nd chapter, third canto, and we did till 32nd or 33rd sloka. So what things we saw yesterday? We started from third or I think 7th or 8th sloka yesterday, and 1 minute. So we saw that how Devahuti actually when Kardamuni, so in previous chapter, 21st chapter, Kardamuni glorifies Swayambhu Manu for his being a very responsible Kshatriya, protecting the kingdom and keeping the law and order in the society. And in this chapter, in the beginning, Swayambhu Manu expresses his gratitude that he has been able to see him, Dishtaya, by fortune he is able to see him, because Akritatmano, anyone who has not done austerity, some cleansing of mind and senses and controlling mind and senses, so he cannot have opportunity to see the sage like Kardam Muni. So therefore his fortune was bestowing him that mercy that he could see Kardam Muni and he could hear from him the instructions. So Prabhupada mentions that one cannot perfect one's life without having dust of lotus feet of Mahatpad Rajobhishekham. So he says that if anyone wants to have success in spiritual life, then he needs to connect to a Mahat and then surrender his life to him, and then by following his instructions, he will become delivered. So we saw that how Srila Prabhupada's life got changed by surrendering to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. So we saw that also. And then after that, Kardamuni glorifying, Swayambhu Manu again expressing his gratitude. He was feeling embarrassment, but then he says that I have certain requests from you. Generally, a disciple never request from his spiritual master, but now he is requesting something. That means the request was also little not very like a spiritual request. It's like Guru wants to marry, and then the disciple in one sense he has to give his daughter, like that. The thing was like that. So then he said that uh, if a person who is having no desire in material world, or a person having certain desire, if anything comes by his own accord, he should accept it. Otherwise, in future, he will have to go to a miser person to ask for the same thing which he was getting without any endeavor earlier. So we discussed to a certain extent yesterday. So therefore he is saying basically I have a very beautiful daughter. She is a sister of Uttanpad and this Priyarat Maharaj. So therefore better you accept this daughter, and she is very beautiful, and also she is also looking for suitable husband matching with quality. Shila Gun Vaya Sila Guna. So Vaya means the age, character, and the qualities. So she is also looking for a suitable husband. And then confirming that, uh, Kardamuni said that yes, I know that she is very beautiful, and her beauty enamored Visvashu. So he was a Gandharva. Even he got attracted, and then he fell down from his plane. So he says that. And then he says that I also know that your daughter has not given her heart to anyone. So I am the first person. So therefore I have no issue in accepting her hand. So then Prabhupada discusses about all these things about dowry. Also he mentions dowry was is compulsory because it's a affection of a father for the daughter that comes in terms of some utensils, some clothes, some money. Money means the gold, other things, some opulences, which will be required by girl when she will continue her household life. So therefore, the father, out of affection for the girl, and because after this transaction, after this kanyadan, he is not going to give anything so much opulent, and there will be no such ceremony of giving. So therefore this is the last meeting, or you can say the last venture where he has to be separated from his daughter, as we saw that Swayambhu Manu was weeping, he was crying and saying Amba Amba, oh darling, oh Amba. So like that. So this is the last venture. Now he has to separate from his daughter, so he has to give something that my daughter remain happy throughout your life. Like that affection should be there. So Prabhupada said if nothing is there, at least give some flower and fruit, like Krishna says, patram puspam phalam toyam. But surely nobody can say he has nothing. In India, people are very sensitive. They used to sell their lands, properties to just marry their daughters. So this was the custom and tradition in India. Prabhupada said the dowry system should not be removed. It's not an illegal thing. Okay. At the same time, the expectant family, the bridegroom family, they should not be so greedy, or they should not be like that. If you do not give, then how my son will maintain? Then why you're marrying only? If the son cannot have a good job, if son does not have a capability competent to maintain a girl, then why is marrying? First thing. So then they should not be so much greedy. So it's spoken from the perspective of the father of a daughter, not much from the greed of the son. So this is has to be clear. So therefore many times the system becomes very much like people when they enter into some system, they try to find out their easy way. or their selfish traits come out. Okay, how I can exploit this system. So this system of varnashram is also exploited. Like Brahmana, they are saying, I am born in Brahmana family, so I am a Brahmana. Huh? Let not speak of whether I am following Brahminical qualities or not. That does not matter. I am born means I am a Brahmana. In the similar way, he may say that I am a husband of this lady, so then she should bring the dowry. Without dowry, how can she come? And if she brings less dowries, then I will torture. So this many times this ill feelings and this wrong concept of dowry has been prevalent in India long time before. So now what people ultimately did, they removed only. उसको ही निकाल दिया. So now no dowry. So like that, because when system is not run by intelligent people, hmm, see, when system is made, like in anything, in schools, in any institute, some system. So Prabhupada established GBC, Governing Body Commission, yeah, so that the ISKCON's all rules and regulations will be preserved by these people. They are the heads of the ISKCON. So if Prabhupada could have thought, no, we are so elevated Vaishnavas, we ourselves don't need any authority. We can just follow by reading books. No, Prabhupada knew that. Anyone, he needs some superior to be guided. So that he will guide him. The superiors are needed for institutions, superiors are needed for individual person also. So therefore Prabhupada established GBC. So that the system, whatever he has made, whatever purposes he has given, they should not be misunderstood or they should not be exploited in future in the name of certain things, ism or certain personal agenda. So Prabhupada established this system with a proper authority and proper channels, proper temple president, then journal secretary. Means all these things, Prabhupada expected these things should be there, like that. Commander, temple commander, like that Prabhupada made. So okay, so then after this, the daughter was given dowry by mother as well as father, both they gave, and then they handed over the daughter to Kardamuni. And then both of them, they left for their capital, Barismati. So we are reading that part, and we saw the beauty of Barismati in the kingdom. It was a very beautiful kingdom, and this Swayambhu Manu was living a Krishna conscious life there. Okay, so today who will read? Ram Kishore Prabhu is there. Ram Kishore Prabhu, you can read 5 shlokas.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so first we'll go to that shloka.
Yeah, just a second. Yes.
See, this we did, actually. This was done. Barismati, we entered in the city of Barismati. This also were done.
Prabhu, 33 we have to start from 30 to.
Okay, we'll do this. Correct. सभार्य स प्रजा कामान पूजेन्याविरोधत संगीयामान सकृति कीर्ति शस्त्रिभिः सुरगायकै प्रत्युषेष्व अनुबंधेन हृदा स्नुमन् हरे कथा. Yes.
Emperor Swayambhu Manu enjoyed life with his wife and subjects and fulfilled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles contrary to the process of religion. Celestial musicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of the emperor, and early in the morning every day he used to listen to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a loving heart.
Hmm. So his life was very Krishna conscious life. So even though he was living with all subjects together, he was following a religious life. and Krishna conscious both. So here it's mentioned. Okay, human society is actually meant for realization of perfection and Krishna consciousness. There is no restriction against living with wife and children, but life should be so conducted that one may not go against the principle of religion, economic development, and regulated sense enjoyment, and ultimately liberation from material existence. So here Prabhupada mentions dharma, artha, kama, moksha. The Vedic principles are designed in such a way that the conditioned souls who have come to material existence may be guided in fulfilling their material desires, at the same time be liberated, and they can go back home, back to Godhead. So it is mentioned that how he enjoyed his household life by following principles. What are the principles? Early in the morning, there were musicians who used to sing with a musical instrument about the glories of the Lord. The emperor the emperor and with his family personally used to hear about the pastime of the Supreme Person. This custom is still prevalent in India in some of the royal families and temples. Yeah, we can hear in temples, especially we have heard in some temples, South Indian temples, how the Lord is woken up. So they also start singing some glories of the Lord with the musical instruments. It happens actually. Some traditional temples you may find like that. How the Lord is woken up. So like that, he has also the deity in his kingdom, the temple in his kingdom, and so these musicians they have to wake up early in the morning, like you find in the Jaipur, the Radha Govinda Dev temple. So the king has maintained that temple, and Radha Govinda is there, and people you find till date, people come from their home early in the morning just to have a Mangal Arti. They see Mangal Arti, they take part into, and then the Lord is also woken up like that. Means with some glories are sung for the Lord. So, so means the king had temple, they maintained temple, and then they also had musicians to sing for the Lord to wake him up. And again, when he used to go for sleep, again sleeping music and sleeping songs. And in the daytime also certain different like we in our temple we sing that Yasomati Nandana Brajavara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana. So like that, when Lord takes afternoon food, lunch, so then Bhog Arti is sung with a tune. And in Mangal Arti we all know that there are Narsimha Arti, Guru Ashtakam, all these things are there. So not only before waking up, even while when he's woken up also, then songs are going on, artis are going on. This is one thing. Second thing, professional musicians sing the sahnais, and the sleeping members of the house gradually get up from their beds in a pleasing atmosphere. We have heard in Nath Dwara. In Nath Dwara also, especially in Rajasthan, um, many kings, they were very pious kings, and they had a worship of the Lord. They had a kingdom, but they also used to worship. They were very much connected with the Lord. So Nathdwara also this Sehnai, they actually they blow before the Lord is woken up. During bedtime also the singers sing songs in relationship with the pastime of the Lord with Sehnai accompaniment, and the householder gradually fall asleep remembering the glories of the Lord. In every house, in addition to the singing program, there is arrangement for Bhagavatam lecture in the evening. Family members sit down, hold Hare Krishna Kirtan, hear narration from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and enjoy music before going to bed. The atmosphere created by this Sankirtan moment lives in their hearts. While sleeping, they also dream of the singing and glorification of the Lord. In such a way, the perfection of Krishna consciousness can be attained. This practice is very old, as learned from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just see, and what it gives? It gives an opportunity to live household life in a peace and prosperity. So now in cities, actually the cities, how people wake up and how they go to sleep. People waking up is when sun has woken up, and time he has become tired of sleeping now. Now he has to get up somehow, or somebody is shouting, अरे उठ जाओ बहुत समय हो गया, सूरज निकल के आ गया, उठ जाओ. Then he gets up. So the sound, threatening sound, or the tiredness of body wakes the person from the bed. Okay, how he goes to sleep? Fully tired, coming from office fully tired, totally drained out, intelligence not working, mind not working, totally frustrated. He comes, somehow enter, puts the morsel inside the stomach, and then somehow he watches some television, some enjoyment things, and then he goes for sleep. So what is lacking actually? Here it's clearly mentioned. Barasmati was a city. It is not a village, because we just now saw they are palatial building. Devavati used to play on the palatial building on the roof. Yes, on the, yeah, on the terraces he used to play. So then, uh, in that city, when king used to live in this way, then how would the citizen live? They will also follow the same. So now in the cities, if governmental people, if they live, they make a big temple in the whole city, and then Sahnais would be sung and everything, and then the government person also goes to sleep like that, eh? And then the citizens will also follow the same thing. Like I said, Jaipur actually, till date Jaipur, even though it's also growing in material way, but still the culture has been maintained, because now no king is there, so it is degrading. Now it's only owners of Brahmanas. They have to maintain worship. But the king has to be there, who will ensure the rules to be followed by the whole city people. So no problem. You bring your cars, you bring your auto, everything you bring, but you keep Lord as a center. Bring Lord also in the whole city. Lord को लाओ, और पूरे को, जैसे जगन्नाथपुरी, till now Jagannathpuri is there. So but now Puri is almost at the corner. But who is worried about now Puri? The earlier the kingly culture was there, but now in the Puri only king is for namesake. King is there, but he does not have the power to rule. Just for namesake is a king. Who is ruling? Government is ruling. So government is ruling. So here also, then they should have a temple, big temple. Huh? But in India now, this is another problem. Now temple should be there or mosque should be there. If government changes, then if you become Muslim, then you break the temple only. It should not be like that. So therefore, this is a Sanatan Dharma, and all other religions who are coming and taking shelter in India, they should be given their place to follow their things. But the main city should be oriented through the Vishnu temple. The Vishnu temple should be there. Krishna temple should be there in the city. And people, after finishing of their job, they should go and pay obeisance to the Lord, and take prasadam, hear some Bhagavatam, and then go to the bed in their houses. Like that, the city should be constructed. Not that now we are purchasing these big builders, they are making big societies, 40 acre, 50 acre, and the temple is just at the corner. And what they put in the temple? Some Sai Baba. What is a Sai Baba? Useless. Anything they put. Some people made a society, many 30-40 acre society, and when we asked where is the temple, they said temple is there, go there. It's a totally in a corner, totally just a neglected place. So it was so much, I was feeling pity on the lords, and the person was saying with a very great pride that we have made temple for the society. So I said, your society is so big and you put the Lord in such a corner. And there also a lot of confusion is there. There is no upper said is also not put, just for namesake they have made. So it means the people have become materialistic. They don't want to serve the Lord. And when they don't want to serve the Lord, then what will happen? They will work hard throughout day and night, because Maya will not leave. Because if you don't serve Krishna, you have to serve Maya 100%, because energy is there, ambitions will be there, and then these will be directed for Maya service. And Maya will make them work hard like donkey. That is going to happen. That is already happening like that. So if we bring the Lord, then the king also sleeps peacefully with hearing the music, Sahanai, and hearing the songs of the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similarly the citizens also follow. If king is a devotee, the citizens will become devotee. If king is a Prabhupada says, if he is a fool, then the whole kingdom is a fool's paradise. So it's a fool's paradise only. So this should be made. Okay, not that simply go and give vote to these people, but we should demand where is the big temple in the city. All people should come there, and they should offer obeisances to the Lord. They should give donation to the Lord. They should circumambulate the temple. Everybody should come, or at least those who are very very near. Far people can be also be accommodated to nearby some centers and temples. So this should be the planning done by the government. This is the duty of government. So as far as temples are concerned, in each and every royal palaces or rich man's house, inevitably there were nice temples, and members of the household rise early in the morning to go to temple and see the Mangal Artika ceremony. I remember we had a 2.5 month book distribution we did in Jaipur. Near to Jaipur, one place is a seeker. We stayed there. So we found the families in that area early in the morning, the ladies and some gents also going into some uh, Radha Govind Mandir. It's a big black deity of Krishna. It's not a very opulent temple, but just people going there, singing some songs, circumambulating the Lord, offering some makhan to the Lord, and singing some traditional songs of the Lord. So it's happening in India. But why this is now not taken seriously? Because there is no proper education for this, no stress is given, and there is no authority who takes care. Like if government is there and if government is taking care of economic development, then people are taking seriously the economic development in modern times. Yes, they are looking for their children to send in either engineering college or medical, because today economic development is a very serious thing. Government is also putting a lot of money for that. In the similar way, when government puts money and education to train people for such things, the pujaris, they should be trained properly. They should be given some, like he has been trained from the some Vidyapeeth Brahmanical institutes, and these pujaris worshipping the Lord. So then the pujari can also give lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam. So normal people who are coming regularly, they can easily be preached. Now this is only done for ISKCON. ISKCON people, they are doing. But what about other temples? Other temples are simply like a show bottle. Just deities are kept. Pujari just ding 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 dong, and people come and then they see the deities and they give some money and go away. Some prasadam they may have. Why there is no lecture happening? Why there is no glories of the Lords happening? It has to be happening. So it's a duty of Brahmana and Kshatriyas to establish this system. See, the Lord is supposed to rise early in the morning and take some light refreshment and give audience to devotees. The devotees then go back to the house or sing the glories of the Lord in the temple. The early morning ceremony still take place in Indian temples and palaces. Temples are meant for assembly of the general public. Temples within palaces are especially for the royal families, but in many of these palaces, temples, public is also allowed to visit. The temple of the king of Jaipur, see example comes, is situated within the palace, but the public is allowed to assemble if one goes there. So he will see the temple is always crowded at least 500 devotees. Yeah, it is very true. After the Mangalartika ceremony, they sit down together and sing the glory of the Lord with musical instrument, and thus they enjoy life. So this is the impetus for all of us to wake up. Because Lord wakes up, I have to go to Him, I have to serve Him, I have to please Him. Why people are not waking up? Because the culture has finished. I don't find any Lord in my life. I don't have any God in my life to worship. So why I should wake up? I should wake up with a bed of a tea. उठो चाय पियो बस. नहाना भी नहीं है, आजकल लोग नहाते भी नहीं है. Temple worship by the royal family is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, where it is stated that those who fail to achieve success in Bhakti Yoga principles within one life, given chance to take birth in a life in a family of a rich man or learned Brahmanas. So yes, if one gets opportunity to take birth in this family, he can achieve the facility of Krishna conscious atmosphere without difficulty. A child born in that Krishna conscious atmosphere, Krishna atmosphere, is sure to develop Krishna consciousness. The perfection which he failed to attain in his last life is again offered in this life. So when it will be offered, now Lord is doing from his side, he is giving birth to somebody who could not practice or could not perfect his life in previous birth. So Lord is giving him opportunity to take birth in Brahman family, in rich man family. Now, but Brahman family in today's time and rich man family both are materialistic only. So then Lord is doing from his side, but we are not doing from our side. So then who is going to be the culprit actually? We are the culprit. So Lord is teaching through Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita how to live a life, and we have responsibility to live. Nisnatam yoga mayasu munim swayambhuvam manum yad bhram sayutum bhoga nasekur bhagavat param. Yes.
Thus, Swayambhuva Manu was a saintly king. Although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in a Krishna conscious atmosphere.
See, that's why you find when Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON, in beginning, I think 1 2 years or 3 years, Prabhupada, even the household devotees, householders also, he also told them to live in temples. Because Prabhupada wanted to institute society in that way. Even householders also keep the temple in the center, and they wake up and they come directly to temple. Like Jaipur, he is talking, na? So Prabhupada also instituted the ISKCON in that way. But then he saw that it is going very troublesome. It's because they have to also go out, and there's so many other things were also coming inside. So then he said that you all go out, but you come to temple, like that. So in beginning, Prabhupada did not have many members who could support his mission. So anybody came, either he's a householder or a brahmachari, they were all be together serving the mission. So Prabhupada told them to live inside temple, but later he had to separate. But the idea is that temple should be surrounded with the community of the devotees who wake up early in the morning and come to the temple. Like uh, we still have a struggle here. Because it's not a simply a work of devotees or ISKCON, it's a work of the whole country, that they have to liquidate the working style. उसको थोड़ा ढीला करो इतना. People should not be just tightened, their neck should not be tightened so much that if they don't work hard like donkey, they will not be given money. So the whole civilization should follow the Brahminical culture or godly culture. Yes. So then when the king understand, these people ISKCON people, they are trying to follow the Vedic culture. So then they should have talk and discussion actually in this way. How the whole country can just follow this thing. And we should also improve with more standards, bringing out more qualified people to decide such things. So then the country leaders, they should collaborate with this. So then what happens, the private sectors, and mercantile people, those who are responsible for giving jobs, so they also understand now our king is becoming devotee, our king is becoming representative of God. So we also have to live a life which is conducive to God. It's not simply IT culture or modern technological culture we have to spread. No, this is not our goal at all. But we are unconsciously, we are going in that direction, or we are led in that direction. Unconsciously, it's happening. So if we are not conscious how we are living, how we are leading our world or country, so ultimately we are dragged in certain way, and then we are looking that we are really going in a wrong way. So better have a good knowledge from Gita, Bhagavad, and then from institution like ISKCON, and then have a collaboration, understand. So first the king should also be learned with the Shastras, so that he understand what is Mayavad, what is this Sampradaya, what is that Sampradaya. We don't say that you only follow ISKCON, but we say that the king should be quite qualified king, guided by qualified Brahmanas as advisors. Can be like from other Sampradaya also, no issue. But the whole thing is Vishnu should be worshipped, Krishna should be worshipped actually. So the civilization should be directed in that direction. Then our jobs will be simpler and our lives will be very peaceful and happy. Even in cities, when we talk about living a simple living high thinking, so many times people think simple living high thinking means going to village now. Yeah, so Prabhupada said that also. But the more advanced understanding will be when these kings are living in cities and they're living a simple life. Why can't we live? So that is also possible. But for that, the government has to make a truce, make an agreement. They have to be learned people. They have to accept this culture. And so the devotees have to become, they have to come to the government position, not running away from politics. But they, some of the devotees have to really read the shastras and be qualified and slowly, slowly change this system of democracy, or making it this democracy more proper workable. Actually, sometimes Prabhupada said monarchy is very difficult in Kali Yuga because nobody is so much perfect. So no problem. Like even in our GBC, we have the democracy in one sense. All are putting their views, and then, but all intelligent people are there. In democracy, what is the problem? All drunkards, eh, and womanizers and materialists, all these people have similar value of votes. Their votes are similarly valued. They are not following any proper life, but their votes are valued. What is the use of their votes? Just putting their fingers. It's not like that. Those who have intelligence, those who have knowledge, they should decide who should be the king and what king should do. So like that. So earlier system was also like that. But monarch means one monarch was ruling. So can no one monarch cannot be ruling. Okay, then some collective people can come and then start ruling the country. So that can also be handled. So collection of advisory of Brahmanas, the Brahmanical advisory, and then kingly administration can also be founded like that. So it can be like that. So then here Prabhupada then says here, so he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he enjoyed his material happiness in Krishna conscious atmosphere. The kingly happiness of material enjoyment generally drags one to lowest grade of life, namely degradation to animal life. See what is mentioned, the kingly happiness of material enjoyment. But Swayambhu Manu was considered as good as saintly sage because the atmosphere created in his kingdom and home was completely Krishna conscious. So he mentions the case is similar with the conditioned soul in general. They have come to this material life for sense gratification, but if they are able to create Krishna conscious atmosphere as depicted here by temple worship and household deity worship, then in spite of their material enjoyment, they can make advancement in pure Krishna consciousness without a doubt. At the present moment, modern civilization is too much attached to the materialistic, material way of life or sense gratification. Therefore, the Krishna conscious movement can give the people in general the best opportunity to utilize their human life in the midst of material enjoyment. Krishna consciousness does not stop them in their propensity for material enjoyment, but simply regulates their habits in the life of sense enjoyment. In spite of their enjoying the material advantages, they can be liberated in this very life by practicing Krishna consciousness, simply by the method of chanting. So Prabhupada is giving that. Yes. So as far as possible, devotees are doing this thing. They're preaching to the people, and these people are taking to Krishna consciousness. अयातयामास्तस्यासन् यामास्वान्तरयापना शृण्वतो ध्यायतो विष्णो कुर्वतो ब्रुवतः कथा.
Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life, consisting of a Manvantara era, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes of the Lord.
So he was quite contemplative also. Manu, king. It is said the kings, they, because they had to rule over the, and Manvantar king means he's a Manu. Manushya, the word Manushya comes from him. So he had a full province to rule, all Bhumandala ruling. Actually, Manus generally at his time, right now, when he is ruling, right now, surely Uttanpad is there, and then Priyavrat Maharaj is also there, but he has not handed over his, uh, because we will find in later chapters he hands over his responsibility to Priyavrat Maharaj. So that time not many kings were there, because this is the first day of Brahma. In first day of Brahma, Brahma is also born now. And then he has produced this Satrupa and Swayambhu Manu. This is the first Manu in the creation. So that time not many kings were there. Only he was the first king ruling. So whole earth and Bhumandala was under him. Later what happens then, Manu, means Manu, they have many generations down the line. So then these people become the earthly kings actually. So these things are there. And they live for very one Manvantara. So one Manvantara means we can understand 71 Divi Yugas. 4 yugas calculate together is 43 lakh 20,000 years. And then you multiply with the 71. So that many years they live, Manu, one Manu. But this Swayambhu Manu, he was not ordinary man actually. He might have lived for more than one Manvantara also. That also is possible. One can live more than one. Okay. As freshly prepared food is very tasteful, but if kept for 3 or 4 hours become stale and tasteless. So the existence of material enjoyment can endure as long as life is fresh. At the fag end of life, everything becomes tasteless. The life of Emperor Swayambhu Manu, however, was not tasteless as he grew older. His life remained as fresh in the beginning because of his continued Krishna consciousness. The life of a man in Krishna consciousness is always fresh. It is said the sun rises in the morning, sets in the evening, and its business is to reduce the duration of everyone's life. Ayur Harati Vaipumsam, the shloka comes. But the sunrise and sunset cannot diminish the life of one who engages in Krishna consciousness. So, okay. It is specially mentioned here Vishnu Kurvato Bruvata Katha. When he talked only of Krishna and Vishnu, the personality of God. When he heard something, it was about Krishna. When he meditated, it was about Krishna and his activities. So, this is another thing we can see how the king they spend their life in hearing. So, like even such a big king is also hearing some lecture. Lecture means some Brahmana is coming, Vaishnava is coming and giving lecture. So, he also has a time schedule for hearing, then contemplating, then writing down. Sometimes we say that Srutidhar. Srutidhar means just heard one time, then he remembers. That is Srutidhara. But when you have to plan something, you have to write it down. Planning happens by writing down. So then they write it down. Therefore, or you can say, so writing down activity was not only for Kali Yuga, our Vedvyas wrote it and earlier it was not there. Such a nice handwritings we used to see of the people. So unless they wrote, unless they learned to write, how they could do that? So writing down was also there earlier, even though their memory was very strong. At the same time, they must have to sign also that I have allowed this thing to happen. Signing also required. So writing down and chanting and writing down, especially for realizations. One has to, now one is hearing the Lord's katha, he wants to write some poem, some poetry, or some contribution, like some sastra he wants to write, like Manu, this Manu Smriti, Manu Smriti. So now they have to write something, so then they will write it down for the future generation to take benefit. Chanting the pastime of the Lord. So this was the life of him, and at the same time it is said, if one engages one's youth time in lot of sense enjoyment, his future when he becomes old is very troublesome, because his senses are not controlled, and then he feels that I have not enjoyed my life enough, and he becomes very frustrated because people also not respect him, because he is like a simply running like a cat and dog only. He simply enjoyed his youth and उसको गवा दिया इसको one. And if somebody utilizes his youth with some control of senses, hmm, and proper contemplation, proper doing some dharmic work, when he becomes old, then what happens? He starts reaping the benefit of his work which he had done early in the youth time. Because that time he can see that I have controlled my senses from beginning, and now I am able to see the world in that way. The world is not an arena of enjoyment actually. World gives us lot of teachings, and those who want to learn, they will learn through some sobriety, through some control of mind and senses, through some tapasya, and they really learn it actually, and then they can convince others, and other people may see अरे इसको इतना conviction कैसे है. The reason is because he has not you can say damped his senses in sense gratification. He has protected his senses and also enjoyed. It's not that he has not enjoyed, but he has enjoyed in a religious way. Therefore, previous sloka we found the Swayambhu Manu did not do anything against religious principles. He also enjoyed. He had a big life, kingly life. So this is the thing. So therefore, regulation of senses and sense enjoyment has to be there from the beginning of life. It should never be open, unrestricted enjoyment. Then in later ages it creates problem, because the person will not have any kind of realization. He will be totally confused what is happening in his life. So here Prabhupada gives this Manu age. Okay. स एवं स्वान्तरं स्व एवं स्वान्तरं निन्ये युगानाम् एकसप्ततिं वासुदेवे प्रसंगेन परिभूतगतित्रया.
He passed his time, which lasted 71 cycles of the four ages, 71 multiplied by 4,320,000 years, always thinking of Vasudeva and always engaged in matters regarding Vasudeva. He transcended the three destinations.
Gati Trayam can refer to state of waking, sleeping, and dreaming. Three gunas, the three miseries. The three destinations are meant for the persons who are under the control of three modes of material nature. These destinations are sometimes described as awakened, dreaming, and unconscious stage. In Bhagavad Gita, these destinations are described as the destination of persons in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. So it is stated in the Gita that those who are in mode of goodness are promoted to better living condition in higher planets, and those who are in passion, they remain within the material world on the earth or on heavenly planets. But those who are in the mode of ignorance are degraded to the animal life on planets where life is lower than human. But one who is in Krishna consciousness is above these three modes of material nature. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that anyone who engages in devotional service to the Lord automatically becomes transcendental. Yes. So, okay. Therefore, one who fully engages in devotional service is always liberated. Bilwa Mangal Thakur, a great devotee of the Lord, stated, if I have unflinching devotion to the lotus feet of Krishna, then the mother liberation is always engaged in my service. The complete perfection of material enjoyment, religion, and economic development is at my command. Yes, so he says that, yes. That how the Mukti Devi with a folded palm, she is standing in front of Bilwa Mangal Thakur, and then she is saying, please allow me to serve you. When he has unflinching devotional service. So all the religious activities, all economic activities, all sense enjoyments, so these all will be there at the command of the devotee when a devotee attains unflinching devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. This is true actually. When people they don't know about glories of bhakti and they exclusively run after these things, so they get frustrated, because they all these things they create basically. That's why same thing I mentioned in the previous. When somebody controls mind and senses, you add to that is Krishna consciousness. So then what happens? He gets everything. He gets a realization. He also gets facilities to enjoy. But he does not become carried away by them. And when a person only looks for material enjoyment, religion, and economic only he looks for that, and he has no such higher goal to achieve, no liberation, no goal, so then he becomes entangled actually. So therefore, here it's very very important. People are after dharma, artha, kam, moksha. Generally, they perform religious activity to achieve some material gain, and they engage in material activity for sense gratification. After being frustrated in material sense gratification, one wants to be liberated and become one with this absolute truth. These four principles form the transcendental path for the less intelligent. Those who are actually intelligent engage in Krishna consciousness, not care for the four principles of the transcendental method. They at once elevate themselves to the transcendental platform, which is above liberation. Liberation is not very great achievement for a devotee, to say nothing of the result of ritualistic performances. त्रैवर्गिका इसको बोलते हैं, धर्म अर्थ काम को त्रैवर्गिक. Devotees do not care for them. They are situated always on the transcendental platform of the Brahma Bhuta stage. So see, Mahabharata, Ramayana, also they talk about dharma, artha, kam, moksha. So now Mahabharata especially, so these things are already removed from the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, dharma projita kaito atra paramo. So Bhagavatam gives the nirmat saranam satam. Paramhansa Samhita Bhagavat. So the dharma which is spoken in Bhagavad is the Bhagavad dharma, which only talks about worship of the Lord with the devotion. So with devotion one should worship the Lord. And once one does that, akama sarva kamo moksha kamo dhari trivena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So devotional service also gives the fulfillment of religious life of religious, and then life of like economic development as well as sense gratification. So that also comes in the life of a devotee, but he need not to separately endeavor for that. That is mentioned here. But outside people, those are less intelligent, they go to demigods, they worship demigods, and then they want to fetch all these benefits. But whatever, either less intelligent or more intelligent, one should seek the methods given in the Vedic literature. Those people who are not seeking, they are bikarmis. They are not coming for now only artha and kama. Modern times is artha and kam. Dharma is already gone away. Dharma is not there. So therefore the dharma should precede these things. So kama and artha should be preceded by dharma. Then what will happen? When dharma precedes, then when dharma guides, so then people will not commit sinful activities. Otherwise, nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yad indraya pritaya aprinoti. If somebody is only having an impetus and goal in life is sense gratification, he will surely commit sin. But if somebody takes dharma in front and then he tries to fulfill his desires, so he is protected from sinful life. And so these people can later become devotee also. So this is a benefit actually. मेरा क्लास है, बाद में कॉल करता हूँ 1 मिनट.
अच्छा ठीक है.
So like that. And for devotee, Prabhupada says that we are Brahma Bhuta. So are we at Brahma Bhuta? Our process is like that, Brahma Bhuta. That we, all of devotees, they know. Child also knows. Who are you? I am a soul. I am Krishna Das. So we don't misidentify ourselves first thing. Our ignorance might have not gone away, but our knowledge is perfect. So therefore we identify with our Acharya Parampara, with the proper knowledge given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the lineage, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So we don't misidentify ourselves. And then whom we are worshipping? Lord Krishna. Anyone else? No, no one else. Who are our gurus? Goswamis are our gurus. Srila Prabhupada is the founder-acharya. So in our whole system, there is nothing mixture of any karma, jnana and other things. We are fully following the pure sampradaya. If somebody wants to do something else, that is different. But at least the whole lineage is so pure that we cannot mix. So we are called Brahma Bhuta only. Like we put tilak, everything. Prabhupada said we are all Vaishnava. We are not become Vaishnava. We are trying to become Vaishnava. But the process is so pure that in just going in that process by chanting, just understand what is the process. Chanting holy name. अरे कौन जप करता है? भगवान का भक्त जप करता है. Eating prasadam, not eating anything else. Who eats prasadam? Who can eat prasadam unless it is offered? Only in the houses of Brahmanas the prasadam is meant. Yes, because Brahmanas they worship Saligram Sila. And we are directly worshipping Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna कौन worship करता है? If you see the opulence of devotees, it is too much. Too much opulence is there. So, who follows 4 regulatory principles? Who follows? Specifically, who follows? So then devotees are following. It means we can understand we are made We are dragged for success. We are dragged by acharyas that you take this success. Prabhupada says, I am giving you, take it. I will give you back home back to Godhead. Take it immediately. Just surrender. Prabhupada says, just surrender. Krishna is asking, just surrender. He will immediately pick you up from the modes of material nature. So process is very advanced in Krishna consciousness. So yes, these things are mentioned. And here also, these three states, awakened, dreaming and unconscious states are there. Awakened means Prabhupada says is mode of goodness, dreaming means again passion, unconscious means mode of ignorance. So the Prabhupada collaborates with the three goals in different modes. So mode of goodness means going to, generally mode of goodness means one goes to higher planets, and mode of passion means earthly planet, or Prabhupada also adds heavenly planets. So it is possible because demigods are not fully pure. Passion means there's some mixture of goodness also here he is mentioning, and then fully ignorance means he goes to the animal life, like that. Yeah, शारीरा मानसा दिव्या वयासे ये च मानुषा भौतिकाश्च कथं क्लेशा बाधन्ते हरि संश्रयम्.
Therefore, O Vidura, how can persons completely under the shelter of Lord Krishna in devotional service be put into miseries pertaining to the body, the mind, nature, and other men and living creatures?
So Swayambhu Manu, he transcended all three modes. So he is not going to be born in this world after he leaves the body. Last shloka says that because from dreaming state, unconscious state, and then awakened state, he went above all those states by doing this bhakti. And Prabhupada also says for devotees also same thing. And devotees don't look for liberation; they are looking for prema pumartho mahan, serving Krishna in the spiritual world. Their goal is not to merge in Brahman. So now this shloka says that how can a devotee or a person who is doing Krishna consciousness be put into misery pertaining to body, mind, and nature? How it is possible? So Prabhupada says that every living entity within this material world is always afflicted by some kind of misery pertaining to the body, mind, or natural disturbances. Stresses due to cold in winter and severe heat in summer always inflict misery on the living entity in the material world. But one who has completely taken shelter of lotus feet of Lord in Krishna consciousness is in transcendental state. He is not disturbed by any misery, either due to body, mind, and natural disturbances. So it is expectation from all of us. Krishna says in Bhagavatam also, Matra sparsastu konte sitoshna sukha dukkha agama apaino anityas tam titikshaso bharata. The devotees also have to understand, like one article we wrote that if duties are there, if duties persist, duality will soon pass away. If duties persist, then dualities will soon pass away. It means Prabhupada writes in that purport, Matra Spashatu Kantya, he writes that like a mother, even in the uh, summer season, she does not like to cook because it's too hot to cook in kitchen. But she still cooks. Why? Because she has a duty for cooking. She has to cook for husband, she has to cook for children, she has to cook for the family. And she has to do that. In the similar, Prabhupada writes, कि in the cold winter, in the especially March, January and this February time, in this cold winter season in North India, people may not like to wake up, but still they have to wake up because they have to do their service to the Lord. They have to take bath with the water. Now facility is there, hot water is there, but still they have to first wake up. So Prabhupada says, कि, therefore human has to perform duties even though there are dualities in the world. The dualities will be there and they will come and go. Sometime summer, sometime winter, sometime insult, sometime praise. So like that, it will be always there. So if the duties persist, then dualities will soon pass away. Means what? Because they are anitya, they will come and go. Krishna does not expect us to fight with the dualities. Krishna expects us to do our duties actually. And the next sloka says that if somebody can just do his duty unaffected by happiness and distress of these dualities, he can be fit candidate for liberation. Yes. Who will be fit candidate for liberation? One who does his duty without being affected by happiness and distress, which are caused by duality of the world. Don't become affected by happiness and distress in the world, like happiness and distress caused to the body, to the mind, eh? and it is caused through natural disturbance or by somebody. So these are adhyatmic, adi bhautik, adi devik kleshas. We should not become disturbed. Momentarily one may get disturbed, but again one has to revive one's consciousness, understanding that my duties are still not done. I have to do my duty. Therefore, same way, even in family life also, same thing. Fights are happening, some things are happening. Then one has to understand we have a duty. We have come together with under some religious tie, been together, husband and wife. Religious tie is there. So then, some if religious tie is there, so then some religious duties will be also there for husband for wife. So then they have to do their duties together to maintain that relationship. I'm not talking about extreme situations, but I'm talking about the in general. So all small fights, they are meaningless because they are simply created by dualities in the world. And one should simply focus on the duties, kartabya nishtha. And this, therefore, in previous times, people used to be highly duty minded, even though they would give up their life also for their duties. Yes, that was a culture. Now, in our Krishna consciousness, we want to do duty to please Krishna. That is the addition. Previously, also people used to do, but more they were like karma yogi. Karma yogi means he has lot of karma and he wants to give result to Krishna. But we are like bhakti yogi he wants to serve Krishna what he wants. Krishna wants us to chant his name, glorify his name, spread his name. So that is full bhakti yoga, complete. And karma yoga means then again somebody becomes a king in the world and then offers a result to Krishna. He is doing some work in the world also. That is karma yoga. So yes, according to people's level or what our varna and their ashram they have chosen, they have to do accordingly. It's not a hard and fast thing, but it is said that we are still devotees. We have not seen that we have taken up the sword and start fighting somebody. Tomorrow it may come. Tomorrow it is also required that devotees should also be trained properly in their karmas, the karma yoga, properly. Not only chanting holy names, but chanting holy names should also be going together. But at the same time, one should take up their rigid duties in their life. Rigid duties, prescribed duties, according to their varna. Okay. यः पृष्टो मुनिभिः प्राह धर्मान् नानाविधान् शुभान् नृणां वर्णाश्रमाणां च सर्वभूतहितः सदा.
In reply to questions asked by certain sages, he, Swayambhuva Manu, out of compassion for all living entities, taught the diverse sacred duties of men in general and the different varnas and ashramas.
So he's the first human, you can say, on the earth, Bhumandala, first human. So then future generation has to learn from him. So he then start writing and then teaching others. एतत्तद् आदिराजस्य मनोश्चरितम् अद्भुतं वर्णितं वर्णीयस्य वर्णीयस्य तद् तदपोत्यदयं शृणु.
I have spoken to you of the wonderful character of Swayambhuva Manu, the original king, whose reputation is worthy of description. Please hear as I speak of the flourishing of his daughter Devahuti.
Thus ends the commentary on the. Okay, this is done. Okay, any question for previous chapter? This chapter basically, yes. Any question? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanuta Pranam. Prabhuji, I have a question in एक minute. Yes, Prabhuji, uh, in 12th shloka purport, first line, uh, in material life,
Yes, you can read.
Prabhuji, 12th purport.
12th, na?
Yes, Prabhuji.
12th purport. Yes, in material life. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. In material life, everyone is desirous of sense gratification. Therefore, a person who gets an object of sense gratification without endeavor should not refuse to accept it. अब प्रभु जी जैसे मतलब अब जैसे लाइक हमारे पास मतलब मैंने पढ़ा था कि मतलब जब मतलब कुछ ऐसा जब हम सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन करते हैं तो हमारे जो पुण्य है वो फिनिश हो जाते हैं मतलब तो अब जैसे उन्होंने बताया कि मतलब ये मतलब अपने आप जैसे अगर आए तो हम मतलब कर यूज कर सकते हैं मतलब एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं तो प्रभु जी ये मतलब थोड़ा मुझे मतलब समझ नहीं आया ये लाइन थोड़ा
हाँ, ठीक है। जब जब हम अपने पार्टी को एंजॉय करते हैं तो हमारा पार्टी खत्म होता है, वो बात सही है। जैसे भरत महाराज के सेक्शन में भी आता है कि भरत महाराज भले वो बहुत ही एडवांस राज ऋषि थे, लेकिन फिर भी उन्होंने अपने राज्य में एंजॉयमेंट किया। तो उसमें मेंशन है कि वो जस्ट इसलिए एंजॉय किया बिकॉज वो उनका भाग्य में था और ही वाज जस्ट गेटिंग इट रीड ऑफ इट। ठीक है, मेरे भाग्य में है तो मैं रीड, जस्ट लेट मी गेट रीड ऑफ, आने दो। ही वॉज नॉट अटैच टू दैम। लेट इट कम बिकॉज आई हैव डन सम कर्म इन प्रीवियस लाइफ एंड इट इज कमिंग इन माई लाइफ, आ रहा है अभी, ठीक है, उसको ले लो, उसको एंजॉय करो। और एंजॉय का मतलब वही नहीं, देखो एंजॉय का मतलब वही जैसे हमने अभी सीखा कि स्वयंभू मनु प्रॉपरली रिलीजियस वे में कर रहे हैं एंजॉय। सो देन ही इज नॉट अगेन entrapped by further reactions of his work. So here Bharat Maharaj great souls, when they enjoy, they don't ask, they don't have a desire for sense gratification basically, but they just enjoy it because it is there for them. It's there, like therefore he has mentioned that Karda Muni was not meant for sense gratification. He did not want sense gratification, he just wanted to fulfill desire of Lord Vishnu or Prajapati Brahma.
Prabhuji, but this is very high state. I mean, very difficult for a normal person
Ah.
to not be attached while getting some facility.
Yes, correct. So see, so nowhere it's mentioned. See, here it's clearly mentioned material life, everyone desires of sense gratification. Therefore, a person who gets an object of sense gratification without endeavor should not refuse it. So, Sambhu Manu is also telling Kardamuni same thing. Whether you are desirous of sense gratification or not, you should take what I am bringing to you because I know that you need it. I know that, and you may not need it for sense gratification, but you need it for certain purpose, so you take it. But at the same time, those devotees or those people who need sense gratification, there is no harm again said here, because that's why the Vedas are giving some ways how to enjoy the life in a religious way. So see, the question is not whether one has sense gratification desire or not. Question is that one should not cross the Lakshman Rekha. Means one should try to do it in a religious way. That is the whole understanding. Religious way. One has to follow the procedures, protocols. So like that. So that is the whole understanding. And once, हाँ, बोलिए।
प्रभु जी हम अपनी लाइफ में कैसे देखें मतलब इसको मतलब हम कैसे समझे कि ये ऑब्जेक्ट जो हम है हमारे पास आ रहा है या फिर हम ही क्रिएट कर रहे हैं मतलब
ओके, तो देखिए, जैसे मान लो किसी ने मेहनत किया, पढ़ाई किया, पढ़ाई करके मेहनत किया, अभी उसको जॉब नहीं लग रहा है, ही इज नॉट गेटिंग जॉब। सो नाउ व्हाट ही कैन डू, ही और शी कैन डू, ही कैन जस्ट मेहनत कर सकते हो, पढ़ाई थोड़ा और बढ़ा सकते हो और जॉब अपने आप आएगा। करेक्ट। अभी उसके लिए आप सर तो नहीं फोड़ोगे, माला तो नहीं छोड़ोगे, आप जाके भगवान को दोष तो नहीं दोगे, यू नॉट। सो इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि यू अंडरस्टैंड रिजल्ट इज नॉट इन माई हैंड, रिजल्ट इज गिवन बाय द लॉर्ड, और वो उसका समय होता है, एक अपने समय पे आता है वो रिजल्ट, चाहे वो भक्त हो चाहे अभक्त हो। यस, सो दिस हैपेंस एक्चुअली इन द सिमिलर वे। A certain person has a desire that okay, I want to marry with somebody, or I like girl may think I want this kind of boy, boy may think I want this kind of. Now again they can endeavor for searching, but whether it will be successful or not, who knows? And ultimately what happens in India especially, one cannot go beyond certain limits also. Yeah, because there is certain arrangement, like we are reading now, arranged marriages are there. So one cannot say, father, I will search my own person, you don't worry about me. So then one has to again follow the systems, how by its own accord it is coming. And that in that system we have certain choices, we can choose, oh, I don't like, I like this one, I don't like this one. So this is another thing to understand. When it is coming in through the system given, made by the God, either in the terms of job, or either in terms of marriage, or either in terms of our life, when we earn money, some facility comes in our life, sometimes more money comes, like husband gets a better job tomorrow, he gets a better job. But now I discussed that point, he is going away from the Krishna and devotees. So then one has a choice whether I should take up that job, or and sacrifice my bhakti, or I should be here just waiting for new job better. Because if I sacrifice this thing, then Krishna may also understand that I am sacrificing for him, so he may give me better job. I am suffering right now, I know the job is not very much giving money right now, but I am getting association of devotees. So then one has to prioritize these things actually. So whatever is coming on its own accord, one has to take it with according to his desires. Now somebody can say he's not very advanced devotee, or not very looking for devotion service, then he may go for certain job, he may go to America, कहीं भी जाके या कई लोग ये भी सोचते हैं कि 2 साल करके वापस आ जाते हैं, 2 साल बाद भक्ति करेंगे.
होते ते ऑर्डर केली होती.
हो पण
आपलं ते दसऱ्याच मी म्हणून मी
हरे कृष्णा म्यूट करिए.
ते त्याचं आले म्हणली ती.
हाँ, सो यू अंडरस्टूड. सो इट इज लाइक दैट एक्चुअली. मतलब आप किसी भी दुनिया के सिचुएशन में जाइए, अगर आपको इच्छा है कोई चीज़ की अगर इच्छा है, तो आप मेहनत करके भी कितना मेहनत करोगे, आपको अल्टीमेटली भगवान जैसे भेजेंगे उसको एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा, पहला चीज़ है. और कई लोग क्या करते हैं, मेहनत कम कर लेते हैं, अपना अपना भक्ति में ज़्यादा फोकस करते हैं, आने तो जब आएगा, तो वो लोग थोड़ा डिटैच होते हैं. और कई लोग थोड़ा अटैच होते हैं, तो मेहनत ज़्यादा करते हैं, और मेहनत ज़्यादा करते हैं, और फिर भी उनके जीवन में भी वैसे ही होता है जैसे भगवान चाहते हैं. लेकिन उनको भरोसा क्या रहता है कि मेरी मेहनत से आया है, थोड़ा उनको भरोसा रहता है. इट्स नॉट अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ हु इज डूइंग हाउ मच ड्यूटी. सी, दोनों को ड्यूटी करना है, लेकिन कई बार वो डिपेंड करता है, कोई पैशन में होते तो हम ज़्यादा ही ड्यूटी करते हैं. सम पीपल डू लॉट अ लॉट, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली वॉट यू रिसीव, योर मटीरियल डेस्टिनी ओनली कम्स. हमको जो भी मिल रहा है एन्जॉयमेंट संसार में, वो मटीरियल हमारा डेस्टिनी ही है, उससे कुछ ज़्यादा बढ़ के नहीं मिल सकता हमको. Only what we are reaping now is material destiny only. Prabhupada says a little bit you can increase, appreciable, not much. You cannot change material destiny. Simple. कितना जॉब लगेगा, कितना पैसा, कैसा हस्बैंड, कैसा वाइफ, ये सभी क्या है, ये सभी डेस्टिनी है एक्चुअली. वी हैव आवर आल्सो पार्ट, वी आल्सो हैव आवर रोल टू प्ले इन दैट. If you totally become negligent, then the destiny will take to other turns also. वो भी होता है. If you're not studying only, we are not we're not educated properly, so then the problem may happen. The destiny may come, but in a very rude way. Like I can give example, like cats and dogs, they are also reaping the destiny, but what they are eating what is thrown on the road. They are getting the destiny, but in a very filthy way. And again, if human also does not get educated properly in cultured way, so then he will also get his destiny. But how? He will have to eat what is thrown on the road. Tomorrow he will be drunkard, moving here and there, so he will get his food, but in that filthy way. So therefore we need to be cultured, we need to be educated, so that we get our destiny in a proper dignified way as a human. It's like that actually. So मना नहीं है किसी को भी, लेकिन सबको समझना है कि हमें धीरे धीरे ये सब छोड़ना है, धीरे धीरे. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट अगेन ग्रेजुअली, वन शुड अंडरस्टैंड स्लोली. एंड इट्स नॉट हार्म इन एंजॉयमेंट, ओनली थिंग डेवोटेल इन कृष्ण सेवा. डेवोटेलिंग करना है कृष्ण सेवा में. किस तरीके से हम एंजॉयमेंट भी अगर करना है तो भगवान का शरण लेके करें, कृष्ण का नाम होना चाहिए, we should chant holy name, we should eat prasadam, at least these formalities, some extent we have to follow, and later it becomes our life slowly, slowly.
Prabhuji, when Krishna says Yuktahara Viharasya, is this what the meaning of that?
युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्त चेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्त सपना बोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. Actually that is na, that is simply regulation of your uh, bodily activities actually. eh? मतलब वो ज़्यादा मत खाओ, ज़्यादा मत सो, ज़्यादा मत रिक्रिएशन करो. That is simply regulating your bodily activity. eh? But that is not telling whether you should commit sin or not. That is only telling you should be eating the right food only, but don't eat much. You are sleeping rightly only, but don't sleep more. You are doing recreation, but don't do much. Balance it. So he is talking about balancing, because he says later, yoga bhavati dukkha. A yogi need to balance his life. So he expects that you are yogi right now. You understand yama niyama, and now I am telling you, you should not eat much, you should not sleep much. So with that background he is speaking. But when we are here discussing means sense enjoyment, yes, it has to be regulated, but in that term also कि गंदा नहीं करना है, गंदा enjoyment नहीं, इस sinful enjoyment नहीं करना है. Regulated तो करना है, sinful enjoyment नहीं करना है. Like breaking four regs, illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication. So these things actually then they are sinful actually. So if somebody desires that sense gratification, then slowly he has to overcome them by taking association of devotees. Slowly he has to overcome them actually. And devotee should not do that. If somebody already understood devotional service, they should not do. If somebody falls trapped to, then he has to overcome those things.
So, Prabhuji, sometimes we hear that like enjoyment should be like salt, not too much, not too less.
Correct.
So, like salt means too much means having a desire for a lot of mode of passion, maybe illicit desire, and too less means a little on the impersonal side. So, so can we say that exact amount of salt is like taking, that amount of enjoyment, but not for breaking the rules and regulations as given by Krishna?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Thank you, Pravesh.
Yes. So too much enjoyment one cannot do, because he loses his track of mind. Too much, and too less means he becomes very dry. Just artificial enunciation happens. That is correct. So sense gratification has to be regulated. Okay, now we will be continuing with next chapter. Devahuti lamentation. Okay, now some Mataji will read. Okay, Yashika Mataji, you can read. Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam परस्थिते साध्वी पतिम इंगिता कोविदा नित्यं पर्यचरत प्रीत्या भवानिव भवं प्रभुम्.
Translation. Maitri continued after the departure of her parents. The chaste woman Devhuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love as Bhavani. The wife of Lord Shiva serves her husband.
So here Bhavani word is used. भवानिव भवानी की तरह भवम प्रभुम. So Bhavam is Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva Prabhu, the Prabhu of Bhavani, was served. So how she was serving, in the similar way Devahuti served her husband Kardamuni. So Prabhupada says that there is a nice comparison between both, because Swayambhu Manu daughter was also a rich queen and opulent daughter, and even Parvati, she was also Himalay's daughter. So she was also king's daughter. So now, but she was married to a person, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva did not have a home. Till date also he does not have home. He has a place only, Kailas. So he just sits on the hill and he starts meditating. Sometimes clothes also are not there. He does not have clothes also, he does not have home also. And to that person she got married. And she was very keen to marry because he is such a great personality. In the similar way, here also same thing. The Kardam Muni, he simply had a small hut and no other paraphernalia. But then she was married to him. So this is a external condition. Now what is a more important? She's serving also her husband in the similar way as Bhavani serves Bhava. Like that. Sadhvi, the word used here, Sadhvi, the chaste, faithful wife. Rare example in the ideal of the Vedic civilization. Every woman is expected to be a good and chaste as Devahuti or Bhavani. Today, in Hindu society, unmarried girls are still taught to worship Lord Shiva with the idea that they may get husband like him. Lord Shiva is the ideal husband not in the sense of riches and sense gratification, but because he is greatest of all the devotees. Vaishnavanam Yatha Sambhu. So he is the ideal Vaishnava. He constantly meditates upon the Lord Ram and chants Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. The Lord Shiva has a Vaishnava Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. So unmarried girls, they worship Lord Shiva so that they can expect a husband who's as good a Vaishnava as he. The girls are not taught to select husband who is very rich, very opulent for material sense gratification. Rather, if a girl is fortunate enough to get a husband as good as Lord Shiva in devotional service, then her life becomes perfect. So Prabhupada actually, he also had a daughter, and he was also family man. So Prabhupada not only from that perspective, but he's an acharya and he has all the commentaries in front. So he's just telling that in the Vedic civilization, what was the goal of a girl to get a husband? Why they wanted, what kind of husband they wanted? So they wanted Vaishnava husband. Or basically those who are now you find there were many like kings. Kings were also there. So like Swayamvara means they will choose their vara themselves in the assembly. So all kings will come, and then some defeat, some proposal will be kept, and the king will be successful in that ordeal, and then he will take the hand of the girl. So that was also there, that kind of. But Prabhupada specifically mentions here, if somebody worship Lord Shiva, so then that girl wants a husband who is a very good worshipper of Lord Vishnu, or is a very mature person. He's a worshipper of Lord Vishnu. Not that who's having lot of money, who's very good in sense gratification. This is the purpose. Otherwise, many times we hear some other explanation. Somebody wants to go, like in the second canto, it comes, second canto, when Sukadeva Goswami mentions many demigods for providing material benefits. So he mentions that also, Uma for beautiful girls and Lord Shiva for beautiful husband. So then somebody may think, okay, if somebody want any kind of husband you want, you just worship Lord Shiva. But here Prabhupada gives another understanding here. He says that the husband worship, the Shiva is worshipped for that husband who is not very rich or not very opulent, but he is very good Vaishnava, like that. The quality is very high, the culture is very high, like that. The wife is dependent on the husband, and if the husband is a Vaishnava, naturally she shares the devotional service of the husband because he renders him service. The reciprocation of service and love between husband and wife is the ideal householder life. विश्रम्भेण आत्मशौचेन गौरवेण दमेन च शुश्रूषया सौहृदेन वाचा मधुरया च भो.
Translation: O Vidura, Devahuti served her husband with intimacy and great respect, with control of the senses, with love and with sweet words.
So here some words are used here. Vishrambhena with intimacy. Atmasauchena, purity of mind and body. Gauravena, with great respect for husband. Damena, with control of senses. Shushrusaya, so she rendered service. Sohridena, with love. And Vacha, Madhuraya. So Vacha was not a Kupit Vacha, it's a Madhuraya Vacha. It's a sweet words. These are the facets she utilized for serving her husband. So then Prabhupada gives nice purport here. Two things are very significant. Vishrambhena Gauravena. So Vishrambena means with intimacy, Gauravena means with great reverence. So Prabhupada says, even though the husband and wife they are intimate friend, but the wife should also understand that he is superior to her, and so therefore she should also maintain a respect. So Prabhupada says that familiarity breeds contempt. Many times it happens. Generally, two people living together, after a certain time they know the faults of each other, and so then that faults become the focus, not the service, or then respect. Any relationship actually becomes degraded because respect is lost. Actually, the first thing what one loses is respect. And before that also, one, how the relationship is gone away means one start finding fault. So first comes the fault, then comes respect. So with fault finding, respect goes away. Therefore, even in ordinary terms, when we go for our offices or in our ordinary dealings with other people, the person whom we are dealing or whom we are under them, for means surely they have certain fault or they are very evil people, surely. But when we are under certain boss working in the office and he's a very evil person, but we have to work under because he is giving salary until we change his job. So till the time the person has to also see, his attitude should be in that way that let me not find out fault, let me see some good thing. Otherwise, if I start only thinking about his fault, then tomorrow the colleagues will come to know and my bad reputation will be spread. Just not that I'm speaking openly, but somehow because my tendency is not very good, so then this will be revealed to my boss. So I'm just giving a material example that how the fault finding nature has to be also controlled in our normal dealings, because we have certain purpose to fulfill. So when it comes to family life, also same thing actually. The fault finding, because the family life is not a life of 1 2 year, it has to be lived throughout. So therefore, both have to understand that fault finding nature has to be overlooked. And how it will be overlooked? Again, overlooking will only happen when consciousness is raised. Actually, when consciousness is diverted from person to God, person to God, or some godly activity where our mind becomes very much engaged, we are feeling very pleasure, or reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, associating with the saintly people, associating with the temples and doing some services. So this is the thing actually. So mind has to be filled up with the right consciousness about life, and when that fills up, we also see our problems in other way. The perspective changes because we understand okay, no problem, I have 80% good thing in my life, 20% is bad, so why I'm worried too much about 20%. The perspective changes actually. So it is said, I think earlier before, if you want to keep uh, small thing small, you have to keep big thing big in your mind. If you want to keep small thing small, you have to keep big thing big in your life. So what is big thing for us? The big thing is Krishna consciousness. The big thing which can really engulf or means our identity, means it can engulf, means we are totally, when we chant holy name, we are totally engulfed by the ecstasy. Okay, क्या मजा आ रहा है भगवान के नाम जपने में, भगवान की सेवा करने में. मतलब हमेशा नहीं, बट फिर भी we are not doing mechanically, but Lord's association, devotee association, so relishing. So then, or some doing some service, so then that takes away our mind more from our regular problems, and then we can solve our problems after we engage our time in Krishna consciousness. Then there will be superior help for all of us. So it's mentioned here. Yes. So respect has to be there. Even in modern times, in schools, children they don't respect teacher. This is another problem. Why? Again, same thing. Now, children are finding fault with teacher. When fault comes first, then respect goes away, and then when respect goes away, then there is no question of submission. There is no question of obedience. So therefore, the children has to be taught about God consciousness. The teacher also has to be taught God consciousness. So the faults in Kali Yuga is too much. What is that sloka? Kalo dosya nidhe rajan asti eka mahan guna kirtna deva krishnasya mukta sangha param praje. The dosa, the faults are too many in the world in Kali Yuga, but only by chanting holy name the faults can be overlooked. So like that. A man's psychology and woman's psychology are different. So what is man's psychology, woman's psychology? Man always want to post himself superior to his wife. He's a dominant person, and women always, because of their bodily structure and their psychology, they want to get protected. Even though sometimes ordinarily they may, because they are friend, as it is mentioned in the relationship, but still they may say that okay, I am also not fearful of you, but no, they are fearful because male body is a more stronger body. Its psychology is also more determined, and woman body is like a taking shelter of a male body for protection. So therefore Prabhupada says that even if there is something wrong on the part of husband, the wife must tolerate, and thus there will be no misunderstanding between husband and wife. So these things are mentioned for, again, not for extremes. It is mentioned for regular going and sometimes extremes also. Bishram Bhena means with intimacy, but it must not be familiarity breeds contempt. So this is mentioned. So therefore I mentioned that intimacy does not mean another thing why intimacy brings out the contempt, because intimacy only for sense gratification is not good. Intimacy should be also for showing love so that we can serve Krishna together. That is also important. Like two brothers, they are showing love to each other. Why? Because they show love to follow the teachings of parents or to follow the teachings of guru. Like mother has said, beta बांट के खाओ, ये plate दिया, दोनों बांट के खाओ. So then two brothers are showing love. Okay, you take this thing, I will take. Because why they are sharing? Because mother has told you all eat between. So first comes the instruction, and then they follow. In the similar way, the entering into married life happens through after the instructions taken from the spiritual master. He allows, okay, my dear child, you can enter into married life. And then Guru guides him, okay, you do this thing. So then the Guru becomes the main pivot, means he guides the people and then they follow. So then they show love also to each other because they have to live peacefully to follow the dharma, follow the instruction. It's like that. It should not be only for sense gratification, it's mentioned. Damenacha, the wife has to learn to control herself even if there is a misunderstanding. So Prabhupada gives a story of Kasturba and Gandhi. So one time Gandhi and Kasturba, a lot of fight happened. Gandhi told her, you go out, I don't care for you, go away to your home. And then she went out of door, and then she sat down weeping and crying. And then Gandhi, after 1-2 hours, he opened the door and then saw she sitting, and she again shouted, why are you sitting here, go away from here. So she said, where I can go? From the day I got married, I am here only, I am dependent upon you, I cannot go anywhere, I don't have any other home. So when Gandhi heard this thing, so he felt compassion. But okay, come inside. So this is what Prabhupada says. Whenever some misunderstanding happens, and so then the wife has to be little cool, or she has to understand I am dependent, like that. Then relationship goes ahead. Actually, it is said one statement: relationship is never relationship never dies natural death until it is murdered by our ego. The relationship never dies natural death until it is murdered by our ego. So ego only causes problem, and therefore it is mentioned, now there is a male ego, there is a female ego. So here according to Shastra it's mentioned, not in extreme cases again, but majority times the woman has to cool down. So Prabhupada says that for that also here down. So Sahridena Vacha Madhuraya means Sahridena means the wife should always desire good for the husband. Sahridena. Like one time when husband was saying, somehow I have been given this task of maintaining her, and so therefore I am earning money, I want to finish off all these things, I don't know when I will die. So the wife was always saying, अरे इतना अपशगुन क्यों बोलते रहे, तो हमेशा मरने वाले हो, मरने वाला. अरे ऐसे नहीं बोला करते, never speak like that. So this is correct. Actually, one should not speak such things. Sohridena means the wife always expect that husband should be living healthy life, longer life. So this is sohridena. Always desiring good for the husband. Not that gali deke gali only nature. Sometimes. So this is a very sacred actually life. Very sacred life. Relationship. Speaking to him with the sweet words. This is again mentioned because Prabhupada says that many times he's working outside, then he gets frustrated, and then he comes at home again. He has two boss. One is outside boss, one is inside boss. So then problem happens. So inside boss should not be there. She should be basically comforting him. That okay, you heard something bad, don't worry, everything will be relaxed. Be cool. So this is called Sahridena Madhuraya Vacha. विसृज्य कामं दम्भं च द्वेषां लोभम् अगम्मदम् अप्रमोद्यता नित्यं तेजीयां समतोषयत्.
Translation: working sanely with and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity.
So this is another thing. Now Kardam Muni, he is not reciprocal immediately right now. So he is only receiving the service. He had to do a lot of activities, his daily chores, and then he is not much reciprocative here. You can see, and she is simply serving, serving, serving. So now here, and she has given up all these things because sometimes lust may come, sometimes pride may come. I am a queen, I am a queen's daughter, a king's daughter. What is this? Why this sage is sitting like that, not even speaking a single word? Then sometimes envy may come. What does he think about himself? He's a so great person. What is this envy? Sometimes greed may come. So these things are said to be removed actually. So here the word used is Teji Yamsam. Teji Yamsam means he's the most powerful husband. In later we will see that how. Although a wife may be equal to her husband in advancement in spiritual consciousness, he should not be vainly proud. Sometimes it happens that wife comes from rich family, as did Devahuti, and she could have been proud of her parentage, but that is forbidden. The wife should not be proud of her parental position. She must always be submissive to the husband and must give up all vanity. So it's mentioned here. So this is a. Otherwise, what will happen there? Nuptial life will be ruined. So this is another thing, not to be again extended more, but this is simple, uh, a good note to understand when today's times when marriages happens, when girls education is very high, then she has to be very much careful when she is married to a husband who is having lower education, because she may get proud also, and then the husband thinks that सब उसका ही चलता है, मेरा चलता ही नहीं है. So many times these small things start building up, and it creates problem. So therefore it's mentioned here she was highly rich family girl, and Kardam Muni was also rich in other sense. So there is no matching in that sense कि Kardam Muni has a big wealth, but she understood I have certain things, I have to keep it down only, I cannot pose it in front of him. तो उसको छिपा के, जैसे Prabhupada gives example, I think earlier later he gives about Gandhari. Gandhari was also very beautiful queen, and she understood my husband would be blind. Then she put cloth around her eyes, that I will, if I will see, then I may feel proud, so I will close the eyes. So the certain methods she applied in her life, and that was very great thing for herself. So here basically the principle is don't become proud of her parentage, of her job, or for anything, because the superior person is there. So that makes the relationship very conducive. Devahuti was not unfaithful. The most sinful activity for a wife is to accept another husband, another lover. Chanakya Pandit says. So Chanakya Pandit says that there are four kind of enemies. The father who takes the debt. He is considered enemy. Means he is living a life. He does not have enough strength to earn money, or not very competent, and then his debt has to be levied with by the son. The son will clear the debt. So that is the father is enemy. So the father should not give the debt to his dependents. He should clear the debt. Otherwise, he is enemy. Mother has selected another husband in presence of grown-up children, then she becomes enemy, as mentioned here. If a wife does not live well with the husband but deals roughly, then she is enemy. If a son is a fool or enemy, he is also enemy. In the family life, father, mother, wife, children are assets. But if the wife or mother accepts another husband in presence of her husband or son, then according to Vedic civilization, she is considered enemy. A chaste or faithful woman must not practice adultery. That is greatly sinful act. Yes. Savai devarshi varyastam manavim samanuvratam दैवार दैवाद गरीयस पत्युर आशासां महाशिष कालेन भूयसा क्षामां कर्षितां व्रतचर्यया प्रेम गदगदया वाचा पीडितः कृपया ब्रवीत. Yes.
Translation: The daughter of Manu, who was fully devoted to her husband, looked upon him as greater even than Providence. Thus she expected great blessings from him. Having served him for a long time, she grew weak and emaciated due to her religious observances. Seeing her condition, Kardama, the foremost of the celestial sages, was overcome with passion and spoke to her in a voice choked with great love.
So you can see Kardam Muni is also watching all those things, but he was not speaking till then, and he really looked for her service, because it is said, now if you love somebody, serve. So then he saw that she has served me so much that she has neglected her body totally. So for a woman to not care for body is a great thing. So she has sacrificed that. So then he is seeing that she has really sacrificed herself uh, for my service. So now Kardam Muni is speaking. So the wife is expected to be of same category as of husband. So earlier we read that because the Vaya, Sila, Guna, all these things are matching, so she can nicely serve the husband. So both all matching was there. So therefore she was easily serving, because she understood. She understood that my husband is very teji asham, very powerful. Even if I dedicate something, everything will be completed later. Hmm? Means no loss will happen because he's a very powerful person. Hmm? Therefore she dedicated totally. If a husband is a devotee, the wife is muttlish, then there cannot be any peace in the home. So here is mentioned she should follow the principle of husband. So what is the following the principle of husband means? If husband is a devotee, wife is muttlish, then there cannot be peace at home, or otherwise also. The wife must be the wife must see the tendency of the husband and must be prepared to follow him. From Mahabharata, the story comes of this is a Gandhari. Yes, what I told. She covered her eyes. Yes. So she decided that since her husband was blind, she must also act like a blind woman. Otherwise, she would be proud of her eyes, and her husband would be seen as inferior. So this is the meaning of must follow the principle of husband. The word samanubrata indicate that it is the duty of wife to adopt the special circumstances which the husband is situated. Like sometimes husband is very poor, so then wife also lives like a poor. So like this means she adjusts herself with the husband. Like Lord Ram, he was banished to forest. So according to the scripture, she should not go to forest. But then she said, "No, you are going to suffer. I cannot enjoy here. I will also come with you." So this is another thing again. Sita wanted to please Lord Ram, so she wanted to go with him. But if the husband is not a great devotee like Kardam Muni, it is not a wife duty to adapt herself according to his. No, 1 minute. If even if the husband is not a great devotee like Kardam Muni, it is the wife duty to adapt herself according to this mentality. That makes the married life very happy. It is also mentioned herein that by following the strict vow of the chaste woman, Princess Devahuti became very skinny, and therefore her husband became compassionate. He knew that she was a daughter of a great king, and yet was serving him just like an ordinary woman. So even if the devotee, his husband is not a devotee, she should serve. So there are certain things which are spoken otherwise in our scriptures. Like this comes in 7th canto, 11th chapter, 28th verse. in what condition a chaste woman should not be serving a husband. So it's also mentioned. Like Narad Muni mentions, a chaste woman should not be greedy, but satisfied in all circumstances. She must be very expert in handling household affairs and should be very conversant with religious principles. She should speak pleasingly and truthfully and should be careful, always clean and pure. Thus, a chaste woman should engage with affection in the service of husband who is not fallen. Who is not fallen. So Prabhupada mentions, according to Yagyavalkya injunction, authority on the religious principle, asudhe sam pratiksho hi mahapataka dusita. One is considered contaminated by the reactions of great sinful activities when one has not been purified according to methods of Dasvidha Sanskar. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Namam Duskrituna Mudha, Prapadyante Naradhama. So he says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Ye bhaje se bada abhaktaheen. Char, abhaktaheen, char. Anyone who is a devotee is sinless. One who is not a devotee, however, is most fallen and condemned. It is recommended, therefore, that chaste wife not associate with a fallen husband. A fallen husband is one who addicted to four principles of a sinful activity, namely illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Specifically, if one is not in a soul surrender to the Supreme Lord, he understood to be contaminated. Thus, a chaste woman is advised not to agree to serve such a husband. It is not that a chaste woman should be like a slave while her husband is a Naradhama or lowest of men. Although the duties of a woman are different from those of men, a chaste woman is not meant to serve a fallen husband. If her husband is fallen, it is recommended that she give up his association. Giving up association of her husband does not mean that woman should marry again. This indulges in prostitution. If a chaste woman unfortunately marries a husband who is fallen, she should live separately from him. Similarly, a husband can separate himself from a woman who is not chaste, according to the description of the Shastra. The conclusion is that a husband should be a pure Vaishnava and a woman should be chaste wife, with all these symptoms described in this regard. Then both of them will live happily and make spiritual progress in Krishna consciousness. So this is the thing Prabhupada mentions in the seventh canto. But these are the instructions. When it comes to application, it has to be very properly applied. So fallen means now many times it happens also, like somebody is breaking four regulative principles. He's not a devotee and a wife is married to that person. So it's not that, okay, you're not a devotee, okay, go away now. It's not like that. Again, when it comes to application, it has to be done very properly. Basically, the husband should allow the wife to practice devotional service, and it should be done under proper counselor mentor system, because once the separation happens, then problem happens, then who will maintain the lady? Then she can also be exploited by other men, so that it can also be a possibility. So therefore, marriage is a very sacred tie. It has to be maintained and it has to be dealt in a very proper way. So even the Prabhupada mentions here about the chaste woman. So why I showed this thing, because here everywhere extremes were not talked, but here extreme is talked. When like sometimes in India it has happened, husbands were very rude. They were like beating the wife, and sometimes they were burnt also. So just because they were chaste wife, they were just doing all those things, means they had to tolerate everything. So it's not like that actually. And at the same time, this is the age of Kali. It's the age of Kali. Now nobody can be that much submissive also. So therefore it's mentioned here, for whom it is mentioned, one of the devotee. And now whether husband is a devotee, he can also become devotee, then the wife has to deal properly with him, so that he can also become devotee slowly. So one should not again immediately come to the conclusion of Prabhupada has written, no, now I should give up. No, this is not like that. The conclusion here is mentioned is a very extreme cases. When it happens, when it's 20 or 30 or somebody is very much troubled by such, then certain decisions can be taken. But Prabhupada never says about divorce. Prabhupada says living separately, not divorce. Another thing, what is the duty of husband? Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, daivam na sasyat, na patishya sasyat, namo chayeda samupayetu mrityum. So this sloka describes about all the leaders. Who can be the leader? So first thing, unless one is devoted, he cannot give everything to the Supreme Lord. Means he will not offer anything to the Lord. Unless one can do so, he cannot become a spiritual master, husband, father, mother. So this is the duty of husband. So now the wives of Brahmanas, the 10th canto, they rejected their relatives. So Prabhupada said this is an example of wife rejecting a husband who cannot deliver her from the impending dangers of birth and death. Surely Brahmana Patni, they did not rejected Brahmanas. In actuality, they were saying that to Krishna, Krishna will reject them. We will be with you. So Krishna said, no, go back to your home and serve your husband and remember me. But when it came to serving Krishna, they rejected. They told, oh, don't go. And they said, oh, no, we will go. So they ran for serving Krishna because their husbands were not allowing there here. So this incident is mentioned here. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj rejected his guru. Again, these instructions, when Prabhupada mentions, these are like instructions, shastras mention, when it has to be applied very properly. It has not to be directly एकदम ऐसे नहीं अप्लाई करना है इसको properly, because little mistake may cause big problem. Little mistake, because the relationship with the husband and wife is very very important, and these instructions are also very important, but under mature guidance. Like if somebody says, whenever you get some disease, you eat this medicine, and if you get any severe disease also, eat this medicine. No, one has to go to doctor and say, I am getting this very severe disease, can I eat this medicine? The doctor say कि ये भी खाओ इसको balance करेगा. So prescription has to be taken from doctor. Even though medicine is given here, but prescriber is also required. Proper counselor is required who can be proper seeing the whole situation slowly and guiding. It should not be taken just in one's hand and done. So okay, everyone should be very responsible to take charge of his dependents, just as spiritual masters and take charge of a disciple. So this is one thing. So means basically same thing is again pointed out here. Not that okay, wife should always be ready for full surrender, but the husband should also be devotee. At least he should be so much powerful that, or not powerful, at least Vaishnava. He should be able to understand Krishna conscious philosophy. He is allowing the wife also to practice, himself also practicing. Even though he's slow in practice, let her allow to practice more. So like that. So he's keen for salvation. He's keen for Krishna consciousness. And even if he's not keen, whether he's against, the question is, even if he's against also, then how much we have to deal, how to deal with that situation, then that requires proper guidance actually. Then this comes in the Puranjan section, this comes where so wife is understood to be intelligence of a man. The Puranjan, he neglected his wife and went for doing sinful activity, means killing animals. So when he went, so then his wife felt neglected. So Prabhupada writes a nice purport here. When a person is devoid of devotional service of Vishnu Bhakti, he takes to many sinful activities. King Purajan left home and neglected his own wife and engaged himself in killing animals. This is the position of all materialistic men. They do not care their married chaste wife. They take the wife as an only instrument for sense enjoyment, not as a means of devotional service. To have unrestricted sex life, karmis work very hard. They have concluded that the best course is to have sex with any woman and simply pay the price for her, as though she were mercantile commodity. Thus, they engage their energy in working hard for such material acquisitions. Such materialistic persons have lost their good intelligence. They must search for their intelligence within their heart. A person who does not have a chaste wife accepted by religious principles always has a bewildered intelligence. So wife provides the intelligence to husband actually. This is chaste wife. The wife of King Puranjan was lying on the ground because she was neglected by husband. Actually, the woman must always be protected by her husband. We always speak of goddess of fortune as being placed on the chest of Narayan. In the other words, the wife must always be embraced by her husband. Thus, she becomes beloved and well protected. Just as one saves money and places under his own personal protection, one should simply protect his wife by his personal supervision. Just as intelligence is always within the heart, so the beloved chaste wife should always have her place on the heart of her good husband. This is a proper relationship between husband and wife. A wife is therefore called Ardhangini, half of the body of a man, husband. One cannot remain with one leg, one hand, one side of body. He must have two sides. Similarly, according to the nature's way, husband and wife should live together. In lower species of life also, it is seen that By nature's arrangement, husband and wife live together. It is similar ideal in the human life for the husband and wife to live together. The home should be a place for devotional service, and the wife should be chaste and accepted by ritualistic ceremony. In this way, one can have a happy home. So it's mentioned again. So means the husband has to show the affection and love, and he should not be neglected. The wife should not be neglected, not only just for care but also for decisions. Ardhangani, the decisions should be taken together. Collaboration should be there. Then it comes a healthy relationship. Yeah, in healthy relationship, the wife wants to serve husband and the husband wants to serve the wife. This is healthy relationship. Service is a mutual expression of love. In the ancient text, the Ramayana, when Lord Ram was banished to the from the kingdom, he wanted his wife to stay behind out of concern that the forest life would be too hard for her. But she insisted. She wanted to come with him. He honored her desire. Meanwhile, when Sita was kidnapped the handsome and powerful Ravana, she remained faithful to Ram, and he literally crossed the ocean and destroyed the armies to protect her. So she wanted to come with Ram for his concern, and then for her concern, he protected her by bringing back from Ravana. In the similar way, Devahuti is mentioned here. The Devahuti was cited as ideal husband and wife, Devahuti and Kardamuni. Devahuti, a princess, devotedly served her husband Kardama, who was ascetic to the point where she forgot about her own needs, became thin, malnourished, wanting to serve her in return. Kardama gave her the family, 9 children, and security she wanted, creating no less than a flying city. And in this way, means both of them served each other like that. So basically, it's mentioned it's a mutual. So wife wants to serve husband and husband wants to serve the wife. This is a healthy relationship actually. Even though there is a one is superior, one is a junior, but again the service happens out of love. Just mention. Okay. So okay, we will do this one shloka and we'll end. Kardamma vacha तुष्टोऽहमद्यतौ मानवीं मानदाया शुश्रूषया परमया परया च भक्त्या यो देहि नामयं तीव सुहृत्स देहो नावेक्षिता समुचितः शिपुतुं मदर्थे. Yes.
Translation. Kadam Muni said, O respectful daughter of Swayambhavu Manu, today I am very much pleased with you for your great devotion and most excellent loving service. Since the body is so dear to embodied beings, I am astonished that you have neglected your own body to use it on my behalf.
So Devahuti was so faithful. Not only she did serve with great devotion and service and respect, but she did not care about her health. This is called selfless service. It appears that Devahuti has no sense pleasure with her husband, otherwise he would not have deteriorated in health because he was not reciprocating that time. Yes, she had no sense pleasure. Acting to facilitate the Kardam Muni's engagement in spiritual elevation, she continually assisted him, not caring for her bodily comfort. It is duty of the faithful and chaste wife to help her husband in every respect, especially when the husband is engaged in Krishna consciousness. In this case, the husband also amply rewarded the wife. This is not to be expected by a woman who is the wife of an ordinary person. Prabhupada says that somebody should not say, oh, Kardamuni gave this thing, you should also give. No, it depends upon the power of Teji Asham, how much powerful the husband is. Then he can reciprocate in a similar way. But as a principle, it's mentioned here that she served in a selfless way and he also reciprocated. Okay. So we'll end here. Any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dhanavad Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I have a question apart from, all these. So, current affair question basically. प्रभु जी जैसे हम
Current
मतलब
affair,
आज
I may be knowing, then only I can tell. Okay, you can
ओके
ask.
प्रभु जी लाइक जैसे हम ना आजकल देखते हैं मतलब बहुत ज्यादा कन्वर्जन हो रहा है मतलब जैसे मतलब जो इनफैक्ट जो पंजाब में भी हम देखते हैं, मतलब इनफैक्ट जो सरदार वगैरह थे, मतलब उनको भी जो क्रिश्चियंस हैं, क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज हैं, वो मनी दे के मतलब बहुत ज्यादा कन्वर्ट कर रही हैं। और मतलब हर जगह पे मतलब वो यही कर रहे हैं, कानपुर वगैरह में भी और भी जगहों पे, मतलब तो वो मनी दे के उनको कन्वर्ट करे, कभी 2 lakhs कभी 3 lakhs उनसे, मतलब जो स्क्रिप्चर्स हैं बेसिकली वो भी उनके थ्रू गिरवा देते हैं। तो प्रभु जी, मतलब ये कब तक ऐसी रिलीजियस चीजें मतलब रहेंगी कि भाई पैसे
See,
लेके
uh,
आप वो कन्वर्ट हो रहे हो
see,
और
my
मतलब
my
कर रहे हो?
question is actually, do you think people really follow their own religion first? No. So, the religion of today's people is sense gratification. This is only their religion. I said na dharma artha kam moksha. What is there in these four items? What they now want is money and sense gratification. बस वही है, वही उनका religion है. So those who give money, they will follow them. So neither they were religious before nor they are religious now. So now the Christians who are converting also, they are giving some money and converting. It's not that they are also saying to follow something. They are also doing the same thing. Okay, you just put the name that you are Christian. There is no understanding of religion only, either before or after changing conversion. So first the people had to be educated what you are doing actually. And these Christians missionary, what they are doing actually, what how much they have tattva in their knowledge. तो ये तो क्या है, जैसे मान लो आप क्या करते हो कि like now also it happens, like you give money and then you purchase something, means that the thing becomes yours. In the similar religion also doing the same thing. I give you money, then you change your name. I'm agreeing to change my name because they don't belong to anything. They don't have faith only in their religion, they don't follow only anything. So then they, when they don't follow, they don't belong to anything, then conversion will be easy because they don't find any difference. Christianity, अब मान लो अगर ऐसा बोला जाए कि you become Christian and you kill your mother, then I will give you money. So then they will think, "Arey, mother, I have to kill my mother, then I will become Christian. I cannot do, I cannot do." It means when you say certain statement, that will make sense कि हाँ मैं नहीं कर सकता. But when you say kill your dharma and become Christian, हाँ that I can do, because they don't know only what is the dharma. So they will say, हाँ I will kill my dharma, I will become. So people are not knowing only what is dharma, whom they are serving, कौन उनका क्या है, कुछ ट्रेडिशन फॉलो ही नहीं कर रहे, तो उनको बदलने में क्या वो जानवर लोग हैं? जैसे जानवर को खरीदा जा सकता है ना, यू कैन परचेज अ एनिमल बिकॉज एनिमल डज नॉट बिलोंग टू एनीवन. सो पीपल हैव बिकम लाइक एनिमल. उनको खरीद के कुछ भी कर दो, आप तुम ये बन जा, तू ये बन जा, खरीदा जा रहा है लोगों को. पीपल, मॉडर्न civilization is simply making people slave because people are slave for sense gratification. And when big leaders, they throw the sense gratification in front of them, then they simply become greedy and they become slave. So I am not talking only about religion, for everything is like that. We are slave of modern culture. Actually, so till the time right education is not given and sense gratification has to be told that it is simply a suffering, it's not your goal of life, it's the way we live the world, but it's not our goal of life. Our goal of life is to attain Krishna prema, or at least liberation we should attain. At least. So अभी क्रिश्चियनिटी में लिबरेशन है क्या, पहले क्वेश्चन है ही नहीं क्रिश्चियनिटी में. तो जिसको पता ही नहीं है क्या जा रहा है क्या कर रहा है, उसको क्या बताओगे? कन्वर्जन चलेगा ही ना, क्यों नहीं चलेगा? गवर्नमेंट कहाँ पढ़ा रही है स्कूलों में कि धर्म क्या होता है? तो जब तक वो नहीं होगा, लोगों को आप पढ़ाओगे नहीं, तो उनको समझ में नहीं आएगा वो क्या कर रहे हैं. ट्रेडिशनल चीज़ें सब खत्म होती जा रही है. So it's our responsibility. We have to teach them in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. We are not giving them money, we are giving them knowledge. So knowledge is the important thing. Money is given to those people who are like beggars. So people have become beggar at their heart. उनको पैसा ही चाहिए, चाहे उनका धर्म बदल दो, चाहे उनका जाति बदल दो, उनको बस पैसा चाहिए बस. तो neither they are धार्मिक before nor they are धार्मिक now. They are sense gratifier कर्मी people, नराधमा, कोई मतलब नहीं.
प्रभु जी, लाइक जैसे अभी हम मतलब देखते भी है, कोई मतलब लोग सिगरेट यूज कर रहे हैं, और मतलब बिल्कुल ये ना कॉमन पीपल को ये लोग चेंज कर रहे हैं, मतलब तो उससे इनको मतलब ज्यादा क्या फायदा हो रहा है, मतलब कि सीधा कॉमन पीपल को बदल दिया मतलब।
Oh, they have India runs by वोट सिस्टम से इंडिया रन होता है, पूरा डेमोक्रेसी उससे रन हो रहा है। अभी ज़्यादा लोग आपके अंडर है, मतलब आप कल को कुछ भी करना चाहोगे तो आपको वो करेंगे ना, हेल्प करेंगे, बोले हाँ हाँ ये हमारा पार्टी है। तो इसीलिए तो दैट्स व्हाई दे वांट टू इंक्रीज द नंबर। सी कलयुगा मीन्स शूद्रा, एवरी कलो शूद्र संभवा। तो शूद्रा का मेंटलिटी क्या होता है, ज़्यादा नंबर मतलब जो भी कर रहे हो सही है, ये शूद्रा मेंटलिटी है। ब्राह्मण मेंटलिटी क्या है, व्हाट इज राइट व्हाट इज रॉन्ग, इट हैज़ टू बी असर्ट confirmed through Shastra, even though there are no followers of that statement, but Shastra says means it is true, it is spoken by God. That is Brahminical mentality. But Sudra mentality means just gather the crowd and whatever you want to speak, that will become the law in the country. That is Sudra mentality. So all are Sudra only, na? So therefore they are spreading the religion also in that way. Sudra. Just collect the people and tell eating cow is good. All people say, yes, we will eat cow. Brahman will also say, I will eat cow, I will eat cow, because they have been given money by Christians. This is Sudra mentality. So Christians are also Sudra, and these people are also Sudra. So the both Sudras are coming together and making a nice allies. अच्छा गुट बना के फिर ये लोग सोच रहे हैं हम धर्म का प्रचार कर रहे हैं। धर्म पता है क्या तुमको? गाय मांस खाते हो, तुमके धर्म कुछ पता है क्या? दे आर फुलिश पीपल। जस्ट इसलिए हमारा अभी वी कैनॉट किल दिस पीपल, वी हैव टू किल बाय चैंटिंग होली नेम, बाय स्प्रेडिंग होली नेम। सो वी हैव टू नाइसली प्रीच, nicely preach. Christians sometimes these people are so mad people. Like I remember one girl came, she was a fired preacher, and she said to me when I was a brahmachari, have you read Bible? So I said, I have read, I know Bible, but I have not read. She said, once you read Bible, your life will change. So I said, I have already changed my life. What more you want to change? So she was so much confident. I was thinking, you don't have even a single what you can fig of your brain, ये थोड़ा भी दिमाग तेरे को है नहीं, और तू बोल रही इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बातें। तुम्हारे बाइबल में क्या लिखा है? हमारी गीता के सामने क्या है तुम्हारा बाइबल है? बट शी इज स्पीकिंग लाइक अ बिग पर्सन, फुलिश।
प्रभु जी बाइबल को ही सही से फॉलो कर जाए वो तब भी वो हो जाए, मतलब वो तो उसको भी सही से नहीं फॉलो करते। बेसिक
हाँ
स्टेटमेंट
सो
है दाई शुड नॉट किल, और
सो
वो किलिंग करते हैं, और
हाँ
मतलब
सो
समझ ही नहीं आता उनको।
दैट इज अ थिंग एक्चुअली। सो देयर रिलीजन इज लाइक दैट ओनली, इट्स अ सिंपली रबर स्टैम्प रिलीजन। रबर लगा दो, रबर स्टैम्प, ये क्रिश्चियन हो गया, हिंदू हो गया, मुस्लिम हो गया, सब रबर स्टैम्प रिलीजन ही चल रहा है हर जगह। फॉलो कौन कर रहा है? हिंदू भी तो नहीं कर रहा है ना फॉलो, ब्राह्मण कहाँ फॉलो कर रहा है? तो जो नहीं करेगा वो चेंज हो जाएगा। जानवर है, जानवर को बेचा जा सकता है, पैसे में बेचा जा सकता है, तो हम सभी जानवर हो गए। रिलीजन कुछ है नहीं हमारा, इसको इतना पैसे में बेच दो, इसको इतना पैसे में बेच दो, सब बिक रहे हैं। ओके, सो विल एंड हियर। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।